Yo, welcome to the Man of Doozy podcast. Probably thinking, what the hell does that even mean? Well, the word doozy means something that is extraordinary or outstanding. Hey, we are not that, but we wanna be. Hey. And this is the podcast where we're gonna give you the tools to become the successful in life.
Hey! Wow. Oh my gosh. How about that?
I already kind of did the intro, so.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Hey, welcome to the Better Doozy podcast,
Yes,
everybody.
guys, you're probably thinking, what the hell does that even mean?
Well, the word doozy means something that is extraordinary or outstanding of its kind.
And we are not that, obviously.
Oh, but we want to be. And we're going to be.
That's right. And so this is the podcast that we are going to give you all the tools that you need to help you become successful in life. How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I play that? How do I... You know?
And the best part about that is we're going to learn how to be successful ourselves while we are also teaching you how to be successful.
Makes sense to me. I think you need to work on your scatting, dude.
I'm Alex Scatmaster Staub.
And I am Kirk Scat Daddy Koz.
Oh. Kirk, what are we going to scat about today?
Well, I am so excited. This has been an episode that has been in waiting for months. We almost did this episode months ago, and we weren't able to follow through with it. This is so exciting.
This is our
because
first in-person
guess
guest.
what? Yeah, it's our first in-person guest.
In-person guest.
This is a next level episode, guys. It's a two-parter. We'll tell you more about it, but we're gonna learn how to write a song.
Ooh, what?
A song, dude.
We're gonna be songwriters now?
By the end of this episode, we are going
have
to
an
be
album.
Composers.
Composers.
Yeah.
I like that.
We're gonna be on the top
I
100 Doozy charts.
When you say composer, I picture like Beethoven.
Yeah, or Mozart. Yeah, he's just like angry. Are you slapping the ass on the music? Yeah. Well, but guys, we're gonna learn how to write a song. That's probably why.
That's pretty cool. That's
pretty
cool.
We got a new little setup that we're trying out, which is very exciting. A little bigger table and stuff.
Yeah.
But let me ask you.
Yeah.
Have you ever written a song before?
I
think we maybe did at the beginning.
Well, before I jump into that, I just want to say today's episode is sponsored by Botticelli's and Burn. We love you.
Absolutely.
Go buy some.
We'll talk to you more about them later.
I have not ever written I've tried to make like beats and stuff, but nothing like.
Oh no, really?
Nothing that I like followed through with. No.
Yeah.
But like little apps on the phone where you can make beats, and like I tried to record something, but it doesn't work.
Oh shit! I hit the wrong one.
Oh, delete, and then you just delete the whole thing.
Yeah, you're like, fuck. I don't think I'm gonna be a DJ.
Yeah. What about you? Have you ever written a song before?
You know what's so crazy? I actually have, and I've done it with.
You have? Have I? Heard
Well,
I
have improvised with our guest before.
Ooh.
And we have written songs together before and performed them on Instagram and certain things like that. And but I've only been a part of the singing aspect and improvising certain lyrics and stuff. So, but this is why
You're the singer?
I did some little singing or some harmonies, or to be honest, even some scat. I am Scat Daddy, so. But that segues perfectly into our introduction of our guest.
Oh,
guys,
yeah, let's learn how to write a song, baby.
Guys, today we have the greatest songwriter, composer, multi-instrumentalist, and performer alive. You can hear his original music under the artist names Pair of Sloths and Thick Picks. That sounds familiar. He has degrees in percussion performance from the University of Central Missouri, a master's degree in music therapy, music education from the University of Kansas, and is also a board-certified music therapist. God damn. and as the composer of the Men of Doozy theme song. That's right, guys, we are incredibly honored to be in the presence of our first in-person guest, Colby Koz. Hey! Hey!
Everybody boogie,
Boogie, boogie, boogie, boogie.
Okay.
Everybody boogie, 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 boogie. Everybody boogie, 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 boogie. Everybody boogie, 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 boogie.
Stop. Freestyle.
Squiddly up, bum, ba da, bum, bum, beep, biddy, 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 da, 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 dilly, da, da, ba, da, ba, dee, da, dee, ba, da, ba, da, ba, da, da, boop, 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 scoobity, boop, 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 bidet, water in my boop, 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 boop,
Water
boop,
in my poop.
Stop. Take a verse.
Water in my poop, poop, poop. Sitting on the bidet. Got a little spray in my asshole.
squilly up, up, squid, squid, squirt.
I don't want to get up. The seat is warm. And now I think I
Stop. Everybody
put it in my
Boogie,
asshole.
boogie, boogie, boogie. Everybody boogie, 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 boogie.
Okay.
Everybody boogie, 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 boogie.
Water in my poop.
Everybody boogie, 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 boogie.
We bout to, we about to boogie.
Oh, you knew that song.
I did. Yeah. I'm already harmonizing. Gosh, that was an incredible entrance.
Hey.
Thank you for
Welcome,
that,
welcome.
Colby.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome, Colby.
It's great to be here. Thank you for the kind introduction
Absolutely.
and all
Yeah,
that.
that was a crazy introduction.
Yeah.
All that and you can't cure cancer.
Right? But, we were songwriting just now, right? I was taking a song that I had written before, right? Just a verse, right? And then was allowing you guys to kind of create your own thing on top of that.
Guys, we're already in the thick of it. How incredible is this?
This is called Water in My Poop.
This is called Boop Booty Scoop Water Squirt Boop in My Butt.
Wow. Great song.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are, you're already
So
on
we're
your way.
songwriters, so we don't really need you anymore.
I mean, we recorded that, so we can
Yeah.
We can release
cut
it.
That, we can release that later, right? As a remix,
Yeah.
because it's like I had that boogie chorus, right, which is a song that we had done. So boogie, let Kirk take a verse, let you take a verse, right, and then we come back and
Whose verse is better, mine or Kirk's?
I can neither confirm nor deny anything, right?
Music is not about competition.
Comment below. See who had the better verse. Okay?
Well, guys, let me.
Well, I'm
let's-
excited now.
I am
That
so
got me
excited.
amped
That was the great. So before we jump into these tips, this is a two-parter. So Colby, if you guys haven't realized, Colby also happens to be my twin brother.
What?
Yes. So. Oh my God! You didn't know?
I'm in a.
You're in a twin. You're in a twin
sandwich.
Yeah, this is a Staub. This is a Staub sandwich with twin bread.
Staub sandwich. Let's go. You both got long, luscious hair.
At points.
Yeah.
But-
It's funny.
Yeah.
No, it's just saying, yeah.
No, well, to listeners and viewers, this is a very, very exciting episode because it's our first in-person guest episode. It's also a two-parter. So the way that it's going to work is we are going to read these top 5 tips that Colby has provided with us on how to write a song, and then afterwards, he's going to help us and lead us through a to-do list as you watch and listen to us write a song in real time. Whoa. But before we jump into that, Colby, why don't you tell us, we heard a little bit about it in the introduction, tell us a little bit about your relationship to music, where you started to love it, what age, why did you think it was something that you wanted to do, and just where you at in your career and why you are justified to be teaching us today.
So I guess I'll start from the beginning, right, of music, right? I remember like early on, just always, one of my first ever memories of music was, I'm not sure if you were there, I remember us younger, we had to be like 3 or 4 years old, right? And our dad was taking us to like pick up our brother from hockey. And like the first ever, one of my first ever musical memories is hearing Time by Pink Floyd, which at the beginning of that song is all these alarm clocks going off, right? And there's like a 3-year-old kind of being like,
This is a song?
like what is happening here, right? But also being like, you know, in like a safe environment of my dad showing, you know, he's not trying to frighten me, he's trying to show me something that's unique. And it's just like, I think like very, very early on, I had like this like heavy musical influence from my dad, who admired, you know, just had grown up going to concerts and was a musician early on, right? And just kind of, you know, from the get-go really kind of falling in love with music and it always being this positive thing in my life.
Dad always had a love for some of the greatest like music created, and he's it was he had great insight to help us know some of the best stuff. But I don't
think Dad really liked me too much. He was always taking you guys places. I never got to go anywhere. I was just a middle child, you know?
Just stay home. But yeah, no, early on, like, I don't know if you remember, like, taking road trips and stuff like that, like, when we were younger. And, but hearing some of, like, songs and then just, I remember, like, always having, like, some sort of, like, melody or hook and just, like, improvising songs very, very early on. Like, do you know the song Albuquerque by Weird Al Yankovic?
Yeah!
I remember when I was, like, had to be like 7 or 8 years old, right? Hearing that song, and it's like this 12-minute song, right? Have you heard it?
Oh, dude, it's the one where he goes to donuts and he's like, "You have any bear claws?
No, we're out of bear claws." Yeah.
I haven't heard this now.
Anyway, the chorus is like, it's like in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Albuquerque. Right? And I remember hearing that song like very, very young, and this is like what had to be like 1999, right? So, yeah, around 2000, like around that time. You know, you're just like 8, 9 years old. You know, it's like we used to do like Captain Underpants books. You know, it's like everything was just like poop and fart jokes, right? You know,
as you can see from our introduction to the episode today.
I remember that. Yeah.
But just having like this like very like stress-free mentality of like. Taking a melody like that and just like adding my own words to it, and we call that like in music therapy. You know, you can use that as like a songwriting technique, or even in music education where you're piggybacking, right? Taking a melody that already exists, right, and putting your own words to it, right? And what I remember
that's that thing where like there's like 3 notes on a piano and they show like 10 different songs that those 3 notes are made out of, type of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
so
you're
right.
Foundation.
Yeah, you're right on the money. You know, it's like songs are made up of similar notes and that type of thing, and people will use similar progressions, similar notes. You really don't have to, and you'll see in the tips, right?
So
you can use, you know, a lot of songs, right, have like either the same, you know, similar chord progressions or similar notes, like what you're talking about. But with this song, I remember taking that melody, da 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 da, you know, and singing, "What is a monkey?"
I think I remember that.
Monkey?
Do you remember that, Staub?
Well, I was hoping you could take that melody, right?
Oh.
Sing that melody. You guys could come up with your own thing just off the top.
Oh,
of your
cool.
head. Borrow that melody, right?
Yeah, we could.
We call this piggybacking, right?
Yeah.
Just really quick, you know, the melody. Da na da na na na.
Monkey.
Right? but you can say whatever you want. You're just taking the melody, which already exists, and you're adding your own words to it. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
You just do your own. So I'll give you a beat.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What the hell's with my scatting?
Oh.
What the hell's wrong with scatting?
Huh.
Yeah.
Kirk has bananas on his shirt.
Yeah.
He went into the potato squirt.
Oh,
Whoa!
nice. So at a very young age, you were interested in just like the specifics and different piggybacking and different things. So when was the moment that you realized, oh, you know what? I want to pursue this as a career. I want to go to college for this. I want to learn as much as I can about this and how it works. When do you know the moment?
I don't think it was necessarily one moment because like so many moments happened that are like engraved into my mind that were just like such positive experiences that I just continue to like consume music. Like I mean, just always like at a really young age, like taking our older brothers like mix CDs, right, and not knowing what's on it, right, but just listening and finding songs I didn't really even know the name.
Mix CDs, dude.
You know, like I didn't know.
Do you remember when we were growing up?
Like LimeWire and those things. You know what I mean? You were gonna say when we were going. Oh, when we were going.
You remember when we were growing up and we would take our older brothers' CDs?
So I'm, right now what I'm writing down, and so this is just like another thing that helps me with songwriting, right? Is I like to go off of like concepts or take ideas, right?
What does it say? Weenie Weeble?
Well, I'm writing down when we were growing up. And so if you...
one word, Weenie Weeble.
So later...
This is interesting.
Later, when we're going about writing a song, right, we can draw back on maybe ideas. If you're like, I don't
That's
have any
amazing.
Ideas, we can draw...
When I was growing up.
Right?
The bidet was my only source of happiness.
I have...
the two notes that Colby has right now for potential topics for a song later is bidet and when we were growing up. Well, do you have anything else that you want to say about like composing or writing or performing or music therapy before we head into these tips?
Not necessarily. I mean, there's so much to say, and I don't want to like take too much of the time because I'm excited to get into this creative process.
Yes.
I guess that I could say, you were asking me if there was like any like moment, and just I think one thing that allowed me to just like I was always exploring music in such like a wanderlust attitude, right? And our parents never really said you have to do this. Nobody was ever forcing me to do music, so it was just one of those things that was always. Like I just organically prioritized it in my life, and and learning different instruments, learning different styles, right? Playing in different bands,
bands. I mean, even in drumline or band.
So it was like
you got the experience.
It was like I've been around, being in the music industry. It's like realizing now, like I've been writing songs and creating for a very, very long time, but it wasn't like one of those things where it was like, I was like, I'm going to commit to this. It was like, it was just what I did naturally and organically. It was like,
I love that.
Going to do
who you are.
It's your identity. There's so much of your identity in it. That's how I feel about acting.
Like, it's like, I'm just going to try to make this a part of who I am because it's always been, brought that positive experience.
So what happened if you like had an accident and you were deaf the rest of your life?
So I've thought about this a lot. Like
really?
No, I mean like I've like if I were to lose like for example in 2014, it was like 2 weeks before I was playing this marimba competition, right? And 2 weeks before I slipped and on the ice and I messed up my hand, and then I slipped later on that evening, right, on that same wrist. And so I had an injury, right, but that was like one of the first experiences of thinking like, am I going to be able to like play this competition, right? Like, if I were to lose like my limbs or like some of my senses, like I would much rather like lose my sight than my hearing, like. If you were to ask me, like I'd rather lose my smell before I lose my hearing. Yeah. Right? I'd rather lose my taste before. It's like
I'd lose my hearing first before my sight.
I would if I couldn't hear things, right? It's I mean there is
I basically ignore everyone anyways.
But on that note, there is an artist that I played a lot of her marimba pieces early on.
She's deaf?
She's deaf.
Wow, that's insane.
And so, but she's
when you're deaf, how do you know if your stuff is good?
Dude, there's like vibrations and shit. It's like crazy.
And that's the thing is, music is this multi-sensory experience, right? And it basically like hijacks your brain. And right, when you're playing music, when you're composing music, when you're listening to music, there's so many different parts of your brain that are lighting up, right? And that's why music can be used therapeutically. Well, that's why, music education, kids who are musicians are oftentimes, scoring better on testing and that type of thing, and succeeding in other academic areas, is because music is it's just this,
I think that is a perfect place to start and jump into these tips. A reminder, guys, these are the top 5 tips on how to write a song by Colby Koz.
Whoop, whoop.
The start of part 1. Let's jump in. The top 5 tip is keep it simple. You don't need to do too much to write a great song. Some of the best songs ever written are those that only use 2 or 3 chords and a few notes for a melody. Don't overcomplicate things, especially if all you're running on is bidets and poop.
Right. Or monkeys.
Lean into it.
Yeah.
Lean into it if it's what you got, I guess.
When you say 2 or 3 chords, the first song that comes to mind is the "Lose Yourself" by Eminem. It's just that. That's just it.
Yeah, it just like repeats, right?
Yeah, it does.
Mom spaghetti. Bidet.
Poopy bidet.
Yeah, keep it simple, because if you start adding it's like that.
No, keep going.
Oh, it's like you got one shot, one opportunity. You better not blow it.
You better walk into that stall and sit down on that warm seat
Sit on.
and get ready for some ocean spray. You better lose yourself in the bidet, the squirty poopy. Oh my God.
You only get one shot up your asshole.
But I like this. I like this because
Keep it simple.
this is something that I think is something we all, as the artists that we are, musician, actor, comedian, it is something that across all creative type of things that you can keep it simple. What's that face?
I'm thinking of you remember Dewey Cox, Walk Hard, Dewey Cox? I'm thinking that one scene where he's in the sound studio and he's got 1,000 different instruments and he's like, I need 100 more didgeridoos, and they're like, you don't what? Why? He's like, I just need more didgeridoos. And he's got a goat and stuff, and there's so many different sounds happening, and it's just
that scene is kind of it's
overcomplicated.
Well, no,
It's mocking.
It's like mocking the Beatles in a way, because basically the Beatles got to this point where they couldn't do as many live shows because so much of their sound and their composition, they couldn't recreate it live. But it was all of those different timbres, those various instruments that to talk about. I think in that scene there's an elephant.
Yeah,
But it's
he's 100 more didgeridoos.
But what I usually tell a lot of my younger students, right, 4, 5, 6 years old, is that there's music everywhere that you go. The world is inherently
Musical.
Yeah, exactly. And so, down to the birds that you hear. I mean, I've written songs, just by hearing the hum of the fan in a bathroom, right? And there's
What is a monkey?
Colby, what are you doing in there? I'm writing a song, Mom. Also, fix the fucking fan.
Yeah.
Oh, those are the days, huh, guys?
yeah. But I love it. I love this because, as I was saying, it's something that all of us can relate to as creative people. You got to keep it simple. You got to keep it relatable and something that you can easily attach yourself to or remember sometimes. It's like all the most beautiful things can be brought down to something smaller and simple.
I a lot of how I approach music in general is very just reduce it to it's 3 smallest things of I look at music a lot as just the melody, right, the harmonic accompaniment, and rhythm, right? And when you can break it down into simpler forms, right, then you can approach music as, because I believe everybody should be songwriting. You know, after this episode, I hope that you guys start writing songs every single day.
Every day.
The Bidet Chronicles Volume 1.
The Bidet Chronicles 1. We already got multiple pre-orders.
So there you go, right? I can already see that you're starting to wear that artist hat, right? And but yeah, keeping it simple is like the thing that I have, you know, struggle with the most too, right? Is because you want to create something that's unique and original, right? But still feeling that pressure of, you know, what am I going to do that hasn't been done already?
Yeah,
you know?
it's hard because so much of your relationship to just creating something sometimes can be so muddled in, like, oh, I have this idea, but then your mind sometimes can get so ahead of it when you're putting effort into it, and then you can just start from the smallest level.
Yeah, the creative process when you're just creating stuff in general can be frustrating, you know?
Absolutely.
That's all I had to say.
Yeah, so
Being a comedian is creative too.
yeah, but don't overcomplicate.
That's what I mean. Like,
you know,
yeah,
it's like
you can overcomplicate it.
make an observation, right, and then you know, go with it, right? That's what, you know. With this, it's, you know, I'm writing down these song ideas. Sometimes songs just come from the simplest thing, you know, one word.
Yeah.
That can spark a. I was trying to say something poetic.
See?
Hey.
Being creative is frustrating.
You were making it too complex.
Exactly, I'm overcomplicating it, right?
Hey.
So.
Well, hey, guys, keep it simple. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Start from the smallest little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
What?
Nothing.
Well, okay, moving on. Top 4 tip.
Number 4, everybody.
Number 4?
Number 4.
Number 2.
No, we're on
Oh,
number
no,
4.
we doing descending.
down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right. That was
Yeah.
my idea.
Yeah.
There we go. Number
Yeah,
4.
that was your idea.
Number 4, going down to the top 1 tip. Use repetition. Repeat. 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 Okay? Loop it. Do it again and again and again and again.
And then.
And again.
And then.
Repeat it.
And then.
Repeat
And then.
it.
And then.
Loop it.
And then.
Do it.
And then.
Again.
And then. And
Loop
then.
it.
And then.
Loop it.
And then.
Do it.
And then. And then. And then. And then.
Do it.
And then.
Repeat.
And then.
Repetition.
And then. And then. And then.
Again.
Scat solo.
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
Do it again. Repeat. Loop it. Do it again.
Repetition.
Do it again.
Repeat. Loop it.
Loop it.
Loop it. And do it again.
Hey.
Do it again. That's called do it. That's called.
Some
that was
of the
called
best-
do it again, everybody.
That's thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for listening to
tuning in.
Loveline. That was Do It Again.
Traffic on
Do
95
me
is a
again.
little rough, but it's gonna clear up around 2:00.
Coming in next, we got Poopy Bidet.
Be the day.
And then remember when we were growing up.
Remember when we were growing up?
And then followed by that, we'll have the could you
What?
fix the goddamn fan?
What is a monkey? Later on tonight. But first, we need to fix the fan in the bathroom.
You know what? This is some of the best songs out there have this type
Repeat
of
it. Repetition.
Yeah, they have this repeated type of thing that is so well. It's so connected. It's repeated multiple times throughout the song, but the reason why it hooks you in is because it's simple and it's
yeah.
easy to remember.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you agree?
I do agree. You know, being creative is frustrating.
No, but repetition. It's like I've
Practice.
always
You gotta practice. I gotta practice my comedy. We gotta practice lines.
You gotta put in reps.
You gotta put in the reps.
Literally, even creative people and songwriters and actors and comedians, they have to put in their reps for that stuff. It's like going to the gym
You
for
gotta
your
put in
mind.
10,000 hours or whatever
Yeah,
it's called.
yeah, absolutely.
But also, what with this tip, using repetition, right? When it comes to creating a specific product, or a song, right? repeating the phrases, right? Repeating the words, or creating, repeating the groove, or when I say loop it, right? Find something that's like boom, and then you can just use that going the whole song,
the electric,
right?
like trance music, where it's just like for just like 5 minutes.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And add a couple weird
And you
things,
can add, yeah, right. But when you do that, right, it becomes almost like this effortless state of when you hear something on a loop, right, where it's like you no longer have control of the music, right, and what will happen is you'll start to hear things starting at different points, right?
Yeah.
Exactly, right, and it becomes almost as this canvas to be able to like create over, right? And sometimes when you repeat ideas over and over, right, you like, or in a song, right, you were saying earlier about using a song that has like a few notes. There's a song by One Direction, right, that uses just like the notes C, D, and E, right? Da 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 da.
Loop it.
Repeat it.
Bop
Bop it. Flick it.
Screw it.
Oh, bop it.
Right?
Get a job.
But with the repetitive part, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Right. But if you for what I will do, right, in borrowing a song is I'll borrow, let's say, take that rhythm, right?
Yeah.
Right, and then you change it to that last part,
Yeah.
right? But 3 repetitions of that same rhythm, right? And then you can create something new off of that, right? But if you loop that over, right, then you can kind of discover a grounding in there, and
This tip, the repetition tip, reminds me of back, no joke, like September of 2020 when we were talking with you. Staub and I were talking to you and giving you our notes for what we wanted for our theme song, and we gave you house music, drums, little things, but there's this repetition to it that builds on it, and it just made me, I'm getting the goosebumps now just thinking about it, because it's
yeah. So you tell us a little bit about how you made the theme song for the Doozy here.
So with that one, I was thinking, because you guys had talked to me, right? You would approach me, you're like something electronic, something that's gonna pump you up.
Also, the famous do 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 do. That's legendary.
it's legendary. It's a legendary drop.
That's how we open the
Yeah.
So we open the trailers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me to approach that, right, it was kind of being able to have those examples of what you guys wanted from a product, right? And then using what I knew from music, right? These first 2 tips.
The ingredients.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? And then I created my own recipe for that, right? Keeping it simple and using repetition, right? It starts it follows this repetitive rhythm, dun 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 dun. Right? And so with that, approaching that, I was looking for trying to get something super catchy, right? And repetitive, something that's going to get stuck in your ear, right? That you're going to leave, because basically I look at it as kind of a branding standpoint, right? Of composing for you guys in the podcast, right? You want something that's going to be when they hear it, right? It gets stuck in your head so that you're singing it later, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm thinking, right? And so what's going to be the most accessible thing for just an everyday person to be walk away humming something, or the right? It's just one little part. I mean, what? That's right? It's just 4 or 5 notes, right? It's just that one part, right? But having something that was heavy, impactful, right? That kind of like I said, was going to pump you up and literally get you ready to learn, right? You know,
Get you ready to learn.
You know, and you know, so much of music, right? That
It does
learning is lit.
Yeah, but it's you know, it's craving that anticipation, right? That's you know, it's like something's gonna happen, and then when that happens, you know, it's that boost of dopamine, you know, and you get the chills throughout your body, you know, which for your guys' song, you know, using these what they call a riser, you know. Right, it leads to this impact moment, and then it just drops out, and then when it comes back in, it's that like that that's
famous with all
that
the EDM music.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what we were going for.
But exactly, so it's like that is one technique of if you're trying to make something that's you know impactful, right? There's like a recipe that you can follow for that, right? I just you know create my own thing on top of that I like, right? Which was, you know, it's got, basically I look at it as it's got two riffs, you know, it's got the bum bum bum, dum 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 dum,
Yeah.
dum 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 dum, right, which is basically just 3 notes, right, a very simple repetitive rhythm.
And repetitive.
Yeah, exactly, right, where you could sing it back to me.
You know what I think?
Bam, 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 bam,
I
bam,
think
bam, bam.
this is a great time to take an ad break. We'll be right
Bam,
back
bam, bam,
to the
bam, bam, bam,
songwriting
bam.
course. See you on the other side.
What's up, Kirk?
Hi.
You know what sucks?
What?
When you're just not the favorite child, you know? And you try to steal your older brother's CDs, and no one really remembers you being around the family. You know?
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, stop. You know what doesn't suck, though?
What?
What the jelly foods.
Makes sense to me.
I'm tired of sitting on the bidet, and out of nowhere I have to sing like it's a musical. But I actually don't mind that. But you know what? I am tired of buying expensive, low-quality foods. I deserve nice things. I deserve quality.
Botticelli's is family owned and operated.
It's a me, Mario.
With 4 generations in the food industry. They bring an experience to your table. What are you doing? Hey, it's a taste that transports you to the heart of Italy.
Go to BotticelliFoods.com and use promo code Doozy at checkout for 10% off all Botticelli Foods products. What is that?
We're talking pasta.
See.
Ready? Hit me with it. We're talking pasta.
See.
Sauce.
See.
Olive oil.
See. See.
Balsamics.
See.
And many more flavorful products.
Botticelli Foods are extraordinary and outstanding, just like the men of Doozy.
Look at that, huh?
Look at that! Holy
Look at
shit! Guys, that's not the
Wow.
only sponsor we have, though.
Hey, this week's episode is also sponsored by Burn, the innovative fitness company behind the world-renowned Burn Board.
Recently ranked by Women's Health Magazine as best low-impact cardio workout of 2021, Burn's 6-foot adjustable slide board is the low-tech, low-cost at-home fitness solution for people who want to break a sweat without breaking the bank.
Both Kirk and I have been to their New York studio hundreds of times pre-COVID, and we're active users of their at-home platform.
With over 8 categories and hundreds of on-demand workouts to choose from, the Burn Board and subscription makes sitting down to work out a thing of the past.
Our listeners will receive a special 7-day free trial to their monthly subscription, plus 15% off their purchase, and free shipping with the code Doozy15, DOOZY15 at the checkout, baby.
That's right, guys. Visit theburn.com today for more information about how you can get on board. Yes, again, that's BRRN.com to get 15% off, plus free shipping, Doozy 15 at checkout. And now,
Back to the show.
back to the music.
Wow.
You know what? It seems
That was
like
an-
I had an
what?
out-of-body
Yeah,
experience.
what was that?
Did
Botticelli's, baby.
you?
That-
Did
that-
you?
I
Did
felt like
you?
I was in Italy, like singing at a restaurant or something like that.
Yeah, I felt like I was in Italia.
Do you want
I-
pasta sauce? And they're like, sir, can we just have our waters, please?
What, sir, we haven't even gotten water.
Tonight's
Sparkling
special.
or steel, or would you like some tap? Tappy tappy tap tap, tappy tap tap tap. They start tap dancing, tap dilly tap 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 tap. Well, I had an out of body experience.
That was good. I
That's-
didn't know we could sing.
That was a banger.
That was a banger.
That was a banger.
That was like I felt like I was
Especially at the
wooing
end
our
there,
audience.
The end there was good.
Yeah, we came in
Yeah, the
together.
finale there.
Yeah, we wooed the audience. Guys,
Hey, we're in the top 3, everybody.
We're in the top 3. Guys, we're going to jump right back in. Guys, the top third tip is experiment. Improvise. Challenge yourself to come up with it on the spot. Hey, we've been doing a little bit of that. Try new things. Use various timbres, different grooves, melodic contours, harmonic progressions, and song structures. A big part of songwriting is trial and error. Trying something out and having it completely fail. Failure is so important to embrace when you're creating. However, being relentless with your ideas and unapologetic with your songwriting will yield the most creative possibilities and rewarding results. Experiment. I love it.
Experiment. Anything is, music. I don't know if you remember when we were growing up again. This is like an old
Yeah.
We used to bang on the pots and pans.
Uh-huh.
And then Dad would come in and he'd beat us.
I don't remember that, but I don't know. I have a different.
Dad would come home real drunk, And he'd start kicking the dog. You guys remember that?
We had a dog?
He'd be like, turn that off. I'd be like, I'm making music. You
Also,
guys don't
fix the fan.
You guys don't remember that? I mean, we were young. We were. We were young.
We were very young.
Yeah. We've always had it in us, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. Because it's sometimes you just gotta. I think also when I read this, when I read experiment is like get a little bit out of your comfort zone sometimes, because sometimes that is where you'll find something that you never knew you could do or that you liked, or like I never thought I would ever like use a bidet, and then I used it and I was like, oh my god, this changed my life.
I just used it for
the first time, dude. I cannot believe that.
When the little thing came out and squirted me right in the right. I was like,
you were like, oh,
my like eyes got open, my mouth opened up, and it was that moment.
Dude, that's what I was describing in the How to Turn 30 episode. The moment where you see the entire universe, the beginning. You see the before, middle, and end of a black hole. You see the entire timeline of existence. Your eyes dilate.
I saw the future. I saw the past.
You saw flowers blooming. Babies being born.
Yeah, life, death.
Yeah, life, death.
Are you saying that the center of the universe is a day?
Yeah! Write it down. Yes. Write it down, Colby. Center of the universe.
It unlocks the gateway to a whole new
to artistic prowess and this is great. Is there anything else? Is there anything you'd like to say on experimenting or
no? I think
because let me say because there is certain types of music that, and even artists out there that create events or create music solely on experimenting and improvising in the moment, and that's something that's really crazy.
I've always been incredibly drawn to improvisational forms of music, but I've also found my interest in lots of different styles of music, right? And that's goes back to being somebody who was young and just wanted to be around music, right? And was never like, this music sucks, that music sucks, right? But always having like this mass appreciation for music that if I want to create music, right, I want it to be like, I believe that there is no limits to your imagination, right? You can create so much,
Amen.
Right? But you also have to,
No limits.
you have to learn, right? And if you want to, grow as an artist, I feel, and sustain something, being willing to, like you change as a human, there's nothing that says that your music can't change along with that, right? The more that you know, right? You see that in all different art forms or artists that are like, I look at like comedians, it's like, you remember when you saw Spanglish, Adam Sandler in Spanglish, and you're like, what the heck is he doing? It's like, it's your growth as kind of, an individual artist to be like, I've, learned new things, right? I'm trying something new, right? I'm not just, just this one thing, or I don't just write one style of music.
You have to continue to challenge yourself, because that made me think about my training and my specific technique in Meisner, because it has so much, like the bedrock of it is being able to use your imagination and create and believe what you're able to give yourself. And sometimes what you give yourself at the age of 30 is not going to work at age 32 or 33. So you have to be able to understand. You got to evolve. And a part of that is improvising and experimenting. I love that. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, you gotta break out of your shell. You can't be in the safe zone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta get out. You gotta get out there. You gotta get uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
I
don't envy comedians. That's so like you have such a interesting relationship with comfort, because it's so uncomfortable to be just up there, because you're like bearing your soul in this way to make them laugh and
making people laugh out of thin air from a joke
you
made that no one heard before. So it's like,
or even with music, it's like.
But yeah, I look at you make that transfer to all different performing modalities of. I look at songwriting as this laboratory where it's like, I've got all these resources, I'm going in there, right? I'm going to try this experiment and that experiment. And then at the end, I have to be like, oh, what are the results? And it's either like, scrap it, or like, we might have something here, right? But it's, or you're like, oh, this is a really good thing, right? And it's always, being willing to try new things, right? That will ultimately lead to out of your comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
And, yield to, like I was saying, rewarding results and really creative possibilities that you may not have known were there before you kind of.
This reminds me, and is a great little kind of like alley-oop for you, but like I remember speaking to you when you were finishing your training and music therapy. You created, you just mentioned you look at music and stuff as a laboratory and songwriting as a laboratory. And you created a tool, basically, for your thesis. He created a tool that is a songwriting laboratory that he's had the opportunity to teach multiple times, and it basically puts in a way of multiple different ways that you can access or enter into songwriting. It's fucking insane.
Well, basically, it was the name of the tool is Songwriting Laboratory for Emotional Processing, and so it kind of formed out of working a lot with using music as a way to promote emotion recognition, right? And then
which is beautiful because so much
like
of it, so much.
No, it's not like an app. It's like essentially like a methodology of approaching the songwriting process to help somebody who is in need of emotion processing. And emotion processing that can be,
it's like a guide on like how
it's using songwriting as a tool, as the therapy.
Because some people I know me personally and other people that I know, when they are feeling a certain way, or if they want to feel a certain way, they turn to a certain type of music, right. So it's for a composer or a writer to be able to do that to help emotionally
I got
process.
For every different mood.
Every single mood.
Exactly, right? And so
you're gonna have to add one for bidet.
Oh my God. You got one opportunity. One chance.
Yeah. I love this.
Yeah.
I guess we're good to move on to the top two.
Yeah, let's do
Let's do it.
You know, you're our first guest, and this is probably our longest episode. So
But it's so...
This is good.
This is great. I hope you guys are enjoying this because this is so incredible.
Number 2, everybody. Borrow.
Yeah.
Okay? Study your favorite artists, musicians, performers. If you like what that artist does in their songs, see if you can recreate some of those same effects with your own flavor.
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 My mentor, Charlie
Borrow.
Sandland. My mentor, Charlie Sandland from Maggie Flanagan's studio, one of the greatest things he taught a lot of us when we were training was like all great actors or great artists steal. But stealing is also synonymous with borrowing. The main thing is you take it's like what we were saying, keeping it simple, or like, oh, that's something like you saying like, oh, I really like that riff or those 3 notes. You take it and you make it your own. So many people are like, they see a performance. The way that I make sense of it is they see a performance and you're like, oh my God, that reminds me of this actor playing that. Oh my God. And you hear that they watched that or something. Yeah, to influence them. So they were able to make it their own. It seems so similar with music. You know, it's constantly evolving, but it also like takes from one another, which I think is
like
cool.
You stole the sound from the fan, you know?
You were like, I'm borrowing the fan.
I'm borrowing
Listen,
that. He's like, that's you.
Listen,
I copyrighted this.
there is a story. Like I still have the recording of that fan from it was a pizza shop, Original Pizza in Overland Park, Kansas. I still have the recording of that fan. I can show it to you.
Maybe some other time.
Okay.
Anyway, but
I got some stuff in my car if you want to check it out after the podcast.
I have some candy too.
Yeah.
You want to come on in?
let's get back to the tips first.
It's not far, it's behind the building. You guys remember when Dad used to beat us? Oh, what a hoot!
What a hoot!
Couple of twins.
Horton here's a hoop stank.
Yeah.
Anyway, borrow. Yeah, it's like ideas. This one kind of comes back to like the keep it simple thing, right? Like, you don't have to create something out of completely thin air, right? As if you don't have to approach music, right? And be afraid of it because it's like it's already there. There's examples that you can go off of, right? And with that, it doesn't have to be this daunting thing. Like I believe that everybody should be, songwriting in some capacity, to process their own emotions, right, or to even just be creative with it, because with songwriting, you can provide yourself the control to create something new. But just when it comes to borrowing, right, if you use something that an artist has already used before, you can create something new off of that.
Yeah. Build off of it.
Right, or what we already did, right? What is a monkey?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Taking that melodic line or adding your own flavor, just like
it's a lower evolution of the human species, I think.
Yeah, but adding your own flavor, just like Botticelli spicy vodka.
Oh, the Diablo sauce, my favorito. Yes, amazing. Let's move on. We're guys.
Number 1.
We're on the number 1 top tip, and I love this one. The number 1 top tip is
on the top tip. We're on the number 1 tip. On the top tip.
The top tip, just the 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 number 1 tip for that ass, for that ass. Just the top number 1 tip for that ass. Remember when Dad beat us? Remember when Dad beat us?
Beat us on the bidet.
The number 1 top tip is don't take yourself too seriously.
Hey.
Hey! Be yourself, damn it. It's just music. Amen.
Yeah, be yourself.
Be yourself.
'Cause everyone else is taken.
Oscar Wilde. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken.
This is, this is kind of more of a, very general one. But when it comes to music, I think people look at music as this daunting task of like, how could I ever write something, or create something? It's like, just do it. Sing out loud, like what we're doing. And I think that's, for me, I believe that singing is probably the most accessible way to be making music, right?
Yeah.
Just take the words, right? And you just start singing them, and then you can kind of get your point across. You can do a little bit of musical theater stuff, if you've ever performed like that.
I just use the bidet and I question my sexuality.
I questioned my sexuality on the bidet multiple months ago.
And now he's gay.
And now he's gay too. And
tell
we're
Dad.
dating.
Now you're dating?
Yeah.
I never said no.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Secrets out, everybody.
Oh.
But yeah, don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
For me as a musician, and I tell my students this, right? Like, anything can become a song, right? Anything can become a song, and you have to do a lot of experimenting, trying, seeing if an idea works, right? Like, the first idea that you have when you're approaching songwriting might suck, but at the time, it's really the practice of actually doing the actual thing. Like, like you guys with your podcast, first few episodes were like, hit and miss, and then you kind of find your flow.
Absolutely.
Right? That was a subtle diss, right? I'm not trying to disrespect
Well, I'd
you
say
guys.
it every episode.
I think every single episode has been perfect.
Every episode's been perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. From the beginning.
Yeah.
Right?
From the beginning.
But it's that thing of like, you have those ones that's like, oh, this is a banger. Or, you have your 4th of July episode.
That was just absolutely, we hated that episode. It's like, why are we even doing this episode?
This is one of my favorites.
Right? but that's one of those things where it's like, I've written songs and gotten to the end and being like, did I just waste my time? Like, why did I spend my time writing this? And it's just, tapping into the creative process that makes it easier and easier every single time that you do it, that when, it just becomes easier over time to create new things when you aren't taking yourself so seriously, and not thinking way too hard of like, oh, it's got to be this way or it's got to be that way. Like, let the possibilities unfold.
Yeah. When I'm in the process of like writing it, if I get too serious about it and I kind of get in my own way, it like no ideas come out. No, the creative juices aren't flowing. You gotta relax and you just gotta be like, fuck it.
Yeah, just it's who you are, right? Music is such a personal thing and it's subjective, right? And you have to, in a way, be prepared for people to be like, that sucks, I hate it. And you'd be like, whatever, man.
Whatever,
You
man.
suck.
That's
You suck.
You
just
suck,
my opinion,
Dad.
And then you start writing a song about how
But,
that guy hurt your feelings.
Everyone fucking sucks. Everyone fucking sucks.
They suck. They suck.
Everyone fucking sucks. Everybody fucking sucks.
Everybody fucking sucks. Everybody fucking sucks. Everybody fucking sucks.
You suck.
Everybody
everybody
sucks.
There we go. Gosh. Guys, those were the top 5 tips on how to write a song.
That was called Everybody Fucking Sucks.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings part 1 of how to write a song to a close, featuring Colby Kozanowski. This was freaking incredible. I've learned so much. I mean,
we should make an album, I think.
Well, I think we I feel like We got our producer right here. You know, I think we're already on to a great start. But the great thing about this episode, our first in-guest episode, is this is just part 1, everybody.
We got a part 2 coming out on
Friday. So be sure to stay tuned and listen into the next part, which you will watch Colby usher us
We're
into.
Gonna actually make
we're
a song.
actually going to create a song.
Yeah, we're gonna actually make a song.
But until then, guys, thanks for watching the Men of Doozy podcast.
Hey, comment what your favorite tip was. You know, if you have a tip that you want to learn about, you know, send us a comment. Be like, hey, I want to learn about this, you know? And maybe we'll see it.
Yes, and guys, share this with your friends. And if there's something that you want to learn about and have us teach you while we also learn about it, let us know.
That's right. We're on YouTube, obviously.
That's right.
Instagram, all of the audio platforms you could find us on.
We play some video games. We haven't gone live in a while on Twitch, but we should. We should. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Makes sense to me.
It makes sense to me too, guys. Before we leave, Colby, is there any social media or certain things that you want to shout out for this episode?
Please check out Pair of Sloths on Instagram and on Spotify, and then also check out Thick Pics as well.
How do you spell that?
ThickPics.
Amazing.
Thick Pics. Yeah.
Thick Pics.
Amazing. Well, guys, we'll see you
Part 2.
at part 2.
It's going to be the greatest song ever.
Thank you, guys. Love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you Friday.